Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
In this episode, we wanted to give a shout out to our feral venerator of Soirein, Lurks. Oh, wait, she's here.
Hi, Lux.
Hello, Lurks.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm here, you know. It's Saturday. Could be worse.
Yeah,
It's exciting.
It is a wonderful day for a podcast.
It
it is a wonderful day for a podcast.
But the real question is it a wonderful day in the neighborhood?
Well,
I don't have the reference.
what?
No.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. That makes sense. I don't think Mr. Rogers was a France thing.
No, not so much.
No.
That makes sense. Okay.
But today is a good day to talk about our favorite couple of the Wheel of Time, so Swan and Moraine.
Always.
It is.
James is like, you are stealing my fucking thunder right now.
No, I wanted to ask one question.
What was your question, James? I'm so sorry.
Why do you like us so much, Lurks?
You know what? That is an excellent question. This is an excellent question because all signs point to I don't know. I don't know about us sometimes.
I'm just like...
You've been supporting us since day one.
'Cause you're fun. It's actually all Camille's fault, really. But
Oh.
no, y'all are fun. I mean, I didn't really know you all very well before the podcast, other than kind of like vaguely through Twitter and via Camille. But because you're fun and we have common interests, I don't really know what else to say. Honestly.
I mean,
That's fine.
Also, as I told Camille, if you were gonna name a tier after Soirein, like it was just it was
it was a no-brainer.
yeah, it just had to be.
Makes sense.
But also, I was really excited to support a queer podcast about Wheel of Time and all because
Aw.
I am also queer, and thus it is exciting.
Yeah.
I did not bully Lurks into supporting us. I want that to be said.
No, they didn't. They did not. Yeah, we should make it clear. It's not Camille's fault in that regard. Camille sent me the link and was like, "Hey, we're doing a podcast," and then was like, "I did not expect you to do that." So that it was not Camille bullying me in any way.
Mm-hmm.
No. Okay. All right. Now we can talk about stuff. I
All
guess.
right, James. You got your
And full like disclosure, I have not done any preparation for this because I am
zero.
a guest on this podcast for this episode. I know how much Soirein means to people, and this is not my subject matter, so there are like 4 pages of notes here. I have not read through any of them, so I am sitting back with all of you and learning.
James is just gonna be surprised.
James, you sound like and I mean this in the best possible way. Like, you know, when white kind of celebrity says something problematic about like people of color,
Oh.
and then they do the apology tour, and they're like, you know, I'm just gonna really sit back and I'm just gonna really learn and listen to people's experiences. That was very much the vibe that I was getting from you, and it was tickling me so much.
It was pretty great.
I am going to take some time to reflect on myself and how my actions have affected people that have a different worldview than me. And I think it's very important that I amplify those voices, your voices. As a white, it's very important that you all, as a white dick-sucking person, it's very important that I amplify the voices of the people that just don't like to suck dick. And I think it's just, this is an opportunity for me to make the world a better place and hopefully bring us all together and heal.
That was beautiful.
That was wonderful, James. Thank you.
I'm crying. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, James.
On this, the anniversary of episode 6, we appreciate you, James.
Yes.
Wait, was
Oh
that?
my god.
It's the anniversary of episode 6. That is today, December 10th, which makes it an even better day to be talking about Soirein all day.
Even better.
I did not realize that before.
Oh, I actually totally assumed y'all did that on purpose.
Look at that. You know what? We're gonna say that we did.
Congratulations. Just that in tune with Soiree.
Yeah.
That you just knew it was the best day.
We knew. We were just like, December 10th just feels right. It feels correct. And here we are. I love this for us.
So Swan and Moraine. You know what? Right before starting the recording of that episode, I listened to the promo for episode 19, which was about the origin of the Wheel of Time, was finally came out, and that's the promo we had was just us talking about Moraine and Swan, and how Swan
Yes.
basically came out from Moraine because it was the same character at first, and it was us with crying sapphic tears.
Yes. Lots of sapphic tears.
Understandably.
It was just, and when I was listening to it again, I was like, why didn't we name it? Like, why didn't we name it what was it that?
I think there was like 5 different good titles at the same time.
That's right. There were a lot of really good titles for that episode. I love the one that we came up with just because it's so long and so ridiculous.
It's a little long.
Yeah, it's fantastic though. It's very good. But yes, the sapphic tears.
The sapphic tears. So we are here to bring more sapphic tears by talking about Moraine
Yes.
and Swan. So what do we know about them in the books? Basically, they both arrived on the same day at the White Tower. They started being novices around the same time. They quickly became friends. They were quickly more than friends. And so they started a relationship that continued after they became accepted. And then they got raised as Sedai, and the rest is history. They went on different different paths in order to find the Dragon Reborn. So I think maybe the first question would be, when did you all realize that something was going on between them?
So I picked up on something, and I think we've talked about this before. I picked up on something, like the first time that they had time alone in the Great Hunt, I was like, there's something fruity happening here. There's something fruity happening here when they were alone together. There was just a vibe that they got. Exactly. I was doing the eyebrow wiggle, Camille. I was like,
I have a good eyebrow game.
You do. Very good eyebrow game. And I was like, yeah, there's something here. And I don't think I read New Spring until I didn't read it until after I finished the entire series. And just I remembered feeling very vindicated. I picked up on it.
You're way more observant than I am.
I did not.
Yeah. I was like, oh. I read New Spring and went, oh.
So you only find out about it when reading New Spring for you?
Yeah, I had no clue. I wasn't really looking for it. And also, I read these books back in, high school and college. And then Crossroads of Twilight made me stop reading them for a while. And then I came back and finally finished the end. And hey, look, guess what? Guess what book is also holding up my reread?
Oh no.
But yeah, at the time, that was before I was really paying attention to any of that in books or looking for that in books or even in my own life. And so I just went over my head until I read New Spring, and then it's hard to miss because it's like, oh yeah, they're gay.
Yeah, they gay.
But yeah, in the main series, it definitely had no clue until I read New Spring.
Did you read New Spring after finishing the main series? Or?
I can't remember. No, I think I read New Spring. I want to say I read through Crossroads, and then I finally decided to read New Spring at that point. I can't remember when New Spring came out. I think I read it whenever it came out, but I can't remember when it came out in the series.
Which version of New Spring?
The novel, the hardback novel.
Oh yeah, that was 2005. No, 2004.
Yeah, something like that.
January 2004.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I read it not right after it came out. I got it right after it came out. It was on my shelf, but I didn't read it. I think until I'd hit my where Crossroads just made me be like, fuck this. And then I think I read it during the break before was it Knife of Dreams came out, but then I never picked up the main series after that for a while until all of it was out, and I was like, I should finish this. But then of course, as we all know, the back end of the series is not exactly prime Soiree fodder there either.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
She dies.
Well, yeah, between that and that marriage that we shall not
Yes, that and the other thing. The
Yeah.
marriage that shall not be named.
Yeah, exactly.
That other thing.
Can I just say, I was genuinely happy when I saw that Tom wasn't in season 2. I was just like,
Same.
Oh,
Same.
Listen, me too. And I was trying, listen, I feel like I did a really good job at being respectful because I understand that there are a lot of people who like him and find him, they're very attracted to the man, which I love that for them.
I don't.
He seems like a lovely person. I like him as Tom, actually. I don't mind him as Tom.
I actually do like the show Tom a lot more than I like book
Yeah.
Tom so far.
Significantly more.
I just don't want him anywhere near Moraine, but I do like the character.
I mean, the bar is pretty low.
Yes.
I mean, valid.
Yeah, the bar was in fact under the ground. I think.
Yeah.
What is disturbing you, James?
What's that, James?
I just hate him. I hate Show Tom.
Really?
I hate him. I love Book Tom.
Really?
I named my cat after Book Tom. I hate Show Tom.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
Can we bring back the conversation to Moraine and Swan?
I feel like there's a really obvious divide going on here,
Yeah.
and it's kind of funny.
But again, I am just here to amplify your voices.
Show Tom is better, so let's amplify that.
We're gonna bring it back in.
I am going to I will retweet that silently.
Yeah.
Fair. But yes, I was quite excited to see that news because it just further minimizes any chances of
Yeah.
of that.
Oh yes.
It's mostly just so that we are sure that Tom and Moraine don't interact, and then that ship can die.
Like, it's literally not possible for them to interact before at least Tyr, and that's of course assuming Tyr is happening in the same order.
Yes. Which I honestly I doubt that Tyr is happening in the same order. Yeah, I think they've done a switcheroo with some things.
Yeah.
I think they kind of have to because it's
Yeah, season 2 obviously give us much more info on that, but yeah, I'm inclined to agree that the actual fall of Tyr is going to be much later.
Yeah.
Which I'm feeling kind of like what's going to end up happening is when Tom does return, he'll just like return and go off with the kids and never actually be in like Moraine's vicinity.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what will happen.
And we may not even get like Tom and Matt like being friends until much later.
Maybe.
Like I could easily see him just showing up with the girls.
Yeah. Completely possible. I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Same.
Yeah.
100%.
I love how we're like, we aren't going to talk about this.
I know.
How is Tom going to fit into the show?
We just spent 5 minutes talking about it.
Yes, let's go back to Moraine and Swan,
Yes.
please.
To Moraine and Swan.
We are talking too much about men right now, and I do not like that vibe.
I know. And I don't like it. I don't like that for us. I don't like that for us at all.
So anyway, so basically, I only read Newspring 2 months before the show came out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
I actually finished A Memory of Light 2 months before the show came out, so there's also that.
Okay. Fair.
But I knew for a while that Moraine and Swan was something, because when Moraine dies, I was like, fuck that. So I googled up her name to see whether she would come back. And that's when I learned about Moraine and Swan.
The dangers of Googling anything for these books.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
The things I got spoiled for with this series. Oh my god.
I got spoiled on Egwene.
Oh no. Oh my god. Of all the things to get spoiled on.
But it was my fault. Like, I literally googled up whether Rand was gonna die.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
I got spoiled on Swan and I was devastated.
Understandably.
Swan took me by surprise so much.
It makes no sense. I feel like it only happened because Min said it's gonna happen. And even that, like, ugh.
Dislike.
Yeah. Strong dislike. Strongly dislike.
But at least we have Newspring.
Yes.
We do.
That is full of amazing quotes.
Oh my god.
Literally, when I read Newspring, so I knew it was going to be gay because I knew that Moraine and Swan, their whole story was there. But I thought it would be like gay for like the early 2000s by a straight man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. And it was a bit like that because like they don't really, like, they kiss once and it's not explicit, but also it's like, this is gay behavior, like, constantly.
Yes.
It's so gay. It's so gay.
The way that it made it even more realistic for like women in relationships with women. Like, it's like, oh my god. Can we read some? I did post some quotes in the Google Doc.
Yes.
Can we read some quotes?
Read whichever you want.
Okay. So this is, I don't have the page numbers because I just literally, like, this was from a long post on Tumblr, so I don't have the page numbers. But Moiraine did sigh then. A bear with a sore tooth would have been better company. Even that fellow Lan. Doing up Swan's buttons in turn, she tried distracting the other woman by telling her how much the cut of her dress molded her hips and bosom. Well, for a bit more than distraction. Are you kidding me?
So gay. It's so gay.
Are you kidding me?
Moiraine, you look really, really hot.
Are you kidding me? With this lesbianic behavior?
And like, for a bit more than distraction, what have they done after finishing?
I know, right? It's like, well,
right?
okay then.
I'm like, what?
Moiraine gets like halfway done with the buttons and is like, you know what? I'm doing these buttons in the wrong direction.
This is the wrong move. I need to go backwards.
Wrong direction, reverse.
Let's backtrack. Yeah.
Let's take it off again and then we'll put it back.
And then we'll put it back on.
Eventually. We'll put it back on eventually.
Eventually. Oh my God. When you kind of see it, and I think there was one on Twitter, there was one on Tumblr, where like you have all of those quotes sort of like one after the other, after the other, after the other. I'm like, how are there still people who can sit there and read New Spring and be like, I don't see it.
Right?
How?
Does not compute. I don't get it at all.
Does not compute. The math is not mathing here. It doesn't make sense.
At that point, it's like, it's willful ignorance is the only conclusion I can come to. Like, because
it's gotta be.
It's so gay.
It's so gay.
They're gonna train together and Moiraine is gonna comment on how Swan knows basically every tickling places on her body. And I'm like,
right?
Bitch, what have you done with your friend?
Swan's so good at distracting her. He knows all of her like ticklish spots and like sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
I think she actually even says like her sensitive spots specifically, right?
Yeah.
Swan liked to use tickles at the worst possible moment, sudden pokes in unpleasant places, embarrassing caresses, and startling noises right behind her ear. That and saying the most shocking thing she could think of, and she had a vivid imagination even after the sisters worked with her language.
Yeah. The embarrassing caresses and the shocking things is just like, gee, I wonder what you're talking about, Swan.
Listen, Swan was whispering the filthiest things in Moiraine's ears.
Totally.
She was whispering the dirtiest things. And I love that. And you know what? I feel like
Good for her.
Swan still does that to this day.
100%.
Like, she's 100. Did you see that smirk? That smirk that she gave to Moiraine in the show?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
She still does that. And I love that. And, oh, my God.
That is Swan's favorite pastime. What's the dirtiest thing I can say and see if Moiraine can maintain a straight face?
Yes, 100%. That is absolutely...
There's nothing straight about Moiraine, so...
Yeah.
True. Maintain an Aes Sedai face. How's that?
Oof. Yeah. Any other ones? I mean, there's always the good one about she was not a pretty little porcelain doll. She was a beautiful little porcelain doll. I'm just like, this is
Gay.
Yeah.
very gay and also very sweet.
It's so adorable. They're just so cute together.
So sweet. It's so cute. They're so cute and gay and in love. Oh.
Right? I mean, there's also always the great one that's just like, Swan could have kissed her. In fact, she did.
In fact, she did. Yeah. Perfect.
In fact, she did.
I love it.
Yeah. Or just like, in case you missed it.
Here we go.
And yet somehow people are like,
And yet.
they just seem like good friends. They're just gals being pals.
Gals being pals.
So that's actually something that I was curious about because when you read New Spring as a gay reader, yes, they are definitely in love and blah, blah, blah. But it's they also feel so young despite being actually older than the Emansfield folks.
Yeah.
And it always felt like a little bit, it's more of a child thing they're going to grow out of. Which is kind of my only complaint about New Spring. Well, no, I have other complaint, but that's mostly land related. But it's
yeah. Well, I mean, that's because that's the whole idea of Pillow Friends, though, right?
Right. Yeah, that's RJ's thing.
Yeah, that's RJ's thing, where that's like it's supposed to be this like, which is like, and I mean, we've talked about this at length.
We had 3 episodes about Pillow Friends.
It was our first episode, kind of.
Yes, it was our first. That's right. and just like the many problematic ideas behind phrasing Pillow Friends is like something that you do when you're young to get all of the horny out of your body.
Yeah, it's just because you're stuck with all girls. Like obviously that's what happens when you're in a girls' school.
Yeah.
Like duh.
Obviously, who doesn't?
Yeah, it's just like you don't know straight girls. You what?
Right?
Like, I'm pretty sure that's not actually how this works.
The way that straight women are obsessed with thinking that all lesbians or queer women are just going to like hit on them constantly
Oh my god, right?
and all want to have sex with them. Like, and I'm just like, listen, no.
Especially once they know you're straight, it's not going to happen, I promise.
It's definitely not going to happen.
But like I have friends who who like went to all girls like high schools and colleges, and the ones of them that were straight were not sleeping around with the other girls because shockingly they were not interested in that, and so they did not do that.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
amazingly enough, the women who like dick did not magically change their mind just because they were around a bunch of girls.
Yeah, because it's funny. It's sexuality doesn't work that way.
Right?
You can't just like it's you either you do or you don't. Either you like women or you don't. It's
Yeah. Well, and especially because now I can't remember actually. Now I'm like, was this actually in New Spring or is this just in fanfic written by queer people who know how queer people work? Where like it's known that like some of the girls do though go and like hook up with like the stable boys and stuff or the warder. Well, we know for a fact that the girls will go like watch the warders
yes.
if they're interested in men. So it's kind of like clearly this is like the women who like men will go seek them out if they can.
Yes.
They're not gonna like bang their neighbor because she's there.
Exactly, because she's there. It's just, yeah. I feel like that was actually in the books. I don't think that was a fanfic thing.
It is definitely in fanfic as well, but I feel like, yeah, it is mentioned also in like New Spring.
They are definitely looking up the warders. Like, for example, in I think it's in The Great Hunt, where they have Elsie Greenwell at the tower, and she's always shaking out the warders.
The girls comment on the fact that she's like always watching the warders and not like practicing.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
I feel like it also came up in New Spring too, like where Maureen may have mentioned that like some of her, like Alana or some of the others.
Mm-hmm. It would be Alana.
Right. Well, I know it definitely comes up that Alana wanted like 12 warders because for some reason that line stuck with me. That Alana Masvani wanted like 12 warders.
You know what? We gotta stand. She is nothing if she's not consistent. From the very beginning, from the get-go, I gotta give it up.
The show has made me love Alana.
Me too. Yeah.
It's gonna hurt.
Unfortunately, to my dismay.
I know, right? You read the books and you're like, fuck Alana. You watch the show and you're like, God damn it. Now I love Alana.
God damn it.
How dare you make her likable, Rafe?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it comes up in New Spring too a couple times in passing at least. So it's like clearly
that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what almost makes it weirder, right? Because you have on the one hand RJ being like, clearly they'll like bang each other, but then he also does write that the girls who like guys go and seek them out. So it's like, which is it?
Mm-hmm. RJ is a very conflicted. I love there's so much about RJ's writing that I absolutely love. Like,
totally.
The majority of it I love. But he's so conflicted sometimes in how he writes things. And it's fascinating to me.
Sexuality and gender dynamics, not his strong suit.
Yeah, it's not his strong suit. And like, I appreciate that he made the attempt. I really and genuinely do. But like, it is fascinating to me to read some of it. Like, and I know like he did not intend for Swan and Moiraine to be as fruity as they are in New Spring. I know he didn't.
No, they're just friends. They're supposed to be just friends with benefits, but friends.
Yeah. But that's like mistakenly, he ended up writing a really good romance and a really cute romance and like young romance. That's what you want.
The consistent case, right? Because like,
yes, yeah.
I mean, I know we're talking about Soiraine, but like the other example that springs to mind of I just wrote them as good friends.
Yeah, and
it comes across as exceedingly gay, being Avienda and Elaine.
Yes,
they're sisters.
Yeah.
It's like. Yeah. This is none of this is how sisters act. Having a sister myself,
no,
I promise this is not it.
Having multiple sisters myself,
like my sister and I do not act like this at all, not even close. And but yet again, he was like, no, they're just friends, and I'm like,
yet again, no,
they're super gay,
just gals being pals.
Moiraine and Swan are friends with the Tingles.
Yes, the Tingles. We can't forget the Tingles.
Oh, the Tingles.
The Tingles that have never gone away, even though they've been separated for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Because that comes up in
Mm-hmm.
Great Hunt.
Great Hunt.
Yeah, like even
Yeah.
though they haven't even seen each other in years, it's still there.
Years.
The tingle.
All very heterosexual. Yeah.
Totally. Super straight.
Very heterosexual vibes.
Super straight.
Hmm?
Look, I don't know about you, but I have a lot of heterosexual tingles.
Do you? Interesting.
Personally.
Tell us more about these heterosexual tingles. Are they in the room with us right now? Do you see them right now, James?
Yes, they are here right
Oh
now.
dear. Please point on the doll where the heterosexual tingles are.
Where are they?
Except my first thought when we said tingle was freaking Spider-Man and the Peter Tingle.
The Spidey senses? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but in the new ones where his aunt is like, it's the Peter Tingle, and he's like, please don't call it that.
Oh, it's the Peter Tingle.
Yeah. Where my brain actually went.
You know what? I do agree with him.
I'm totally on Peter's side there. It should not be called that.
No, it should not be called the Peter Tingles. That sounds...
Definitely not. The Soiree Tingles, on the other hand, much better.
I love that. It just rolls off the tongue.
It does.
Sounds good.
Soirain. I still never know how to say Soirain, because
Mhm.
like we still don't even know how to spell Soirain.
I don't know how to spell it. I spell it multiple ways. It's...
Are lesbians bad at spelling?
No, it just nobody can agree whether you want to keep the A of Swan or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can't agree on it.
Do you write it like shit? I cannot spell in English.
Siuar.
Siuan or Siuar or Siur.
I've seen some people actually doing like Swan Rain, and I'm like, okay, that's just getting a little too long there.
That's just wrong.
Gotta at least drop the extra N.
Exactly.
And then it's either Soirain or... See, I can't pronounce it, though, without the A. Like, so I feel kind of like Soirain is the better option.
Yeah. It sounds the same, though, because because what would it be either? It would be sweet,
Soirain?
Swarain? I guess you just kind of swallow the A. Oh,
I think you'd have to.
you swallow the A.
I mean, that's not really
Yeah.
like linguistics. Where's Cat? Linguistics are not my area of expertise.
Yeah.
Other Cat, not you, Cat.
Oh, I was like, linguistics? I was like,
Yeah, it's Cat on our Discord that is.
oh, okay. Do you want to talk about the show for a little bit?
I want to talk about something quickly first.
Okay.
Because there's one moment in the book that's.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe we can talk about when we talk about what's going to come up after in the show.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you talk about the Egwene scene?
Yes, because outside of New Springs, there's not much between Swan and Moraine.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that always breaks a little bit my heart,
Mm-hmm.
my tiny gay heart, is when Egwene actually tell Moraine that Swan got stealed /
Yeah.
is dead / we don't know, and Moraine just doesn't react at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Egwene is like, is that all you can say? I think Swan was your friend once, Moraine. Can't you shed a tear for her? I have no
Right.
time for tears, Egwene.
Mhm.
Swan and I were friends once. In a few months, it will be 21 years since we began the search for the Dragon Reborn. Only the two of us, newly raised Aes Sedai. There is a saying in Cairhien, so I have heard it as far as Tarabon and Saldea. Take what you want and pay for it. Swan and I took the path we wanted, and we knew we would have to pay for it eventually. It just... What is a Shakespeare kind of thing is that?
Right?
I mean, but listen, you know what though? It's very on brand for Moraine. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
I know.
is.
I would love to hate that Robert Jordan wrote it that way, but it's deeply on brand for Moraine. And I guarantee you, the first second that she was by herself, destroyed.
I hope I hope we get that in the show.
I hope so too.
Like, that's what I really want to be able to see, that contrast of her reacting
Mm-hmm.
when Egwene says it, because we know she'll react the same way, at least publicly. Like,
Sure, 100%.
in which it almost might be even more interesting in the show, because Egwene like knows for a fact that they are at least friends of some, because Maureen is the one who took her to see her,
Oh yeah,
and
Yeah.
so like we really got to see that, like, not a lot about it, but Egwene is not exactly an idiot, and will presumably put
No.
together that they are clearly at least friendly,
Mhm.
at least more friendly than the rest of the tower thinks. And then here's going to be Moiraine just being like, oh yeah, take what you want and pay for it.
Mhm.
But I really hope then we get to see, like, the second Egwene leaves and like Lan comes in or something,
Mhm.
and then all of our hearts will break and we will cry sapphic tears in not the good way.
Yeah, lots of sapphic tears.
Lots of sapphic
You know
tears.
who I would love for it to be? Like, if they could swap out Egwene for Nynaeve, because I feel like that would fit almost better. Because in the show, we've had Nynaeve witness Moiraine mumbling Swan's name. And so, like, and Nynaeve is she's a smart woman.
Yeah.
And so she knows Swan's name now, because I think she said, yeah, she introduced her as Swan Sanche.
Well, and then they also...
Yeah, she's, she may have put things together. And I just feel like it would be very interesting to have Nynaeve in that conversation and saying that, giving the news to Moiraine instead. I mean, either way, it's going to be devastating and wonderful. But
it's all really going to depend on how obviously they do the storylines, because like Nynaeve and Elaine, dovetail from them pretty quickly.
And Egwene learned about Swan through a dream, so
right, there would have to be some maneuvering.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be a lot of maneuvering.
I was just thinking for like the dramatics of it.
Either way, it is going to be so devastating.
Oh yes, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good way to bring Nynaeve and Moiraine closer, because that's the friendship that I always wanted to see.
I want it so bad.
Right? Oh, it'd be so great.
I want it. I don't want to wait until the end.
Like, there's a mutual respect, but I want them to be like friends.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I just want them to be friends.
Me too. I feel like they would be such good friends.
And especially because, so in the book, it's fun to have Nynaeve hate Moiraine for so long, but in the show, with so many people loving Moiraine, it would make her character very annoying to a lot of people, and I don't want, like, especially show-only viewer to just hate her.
Well, it just doesn't make sense for it to drag as long as it does.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. No.
Like, I mean, yeah, okay, it's funny to talk about, Nynaeve, like, so angry, holds a grudge, but it's like, it really doesn't fit with the character, especially as the character has been shown in the show, for her to hold that sort of weird, random grudge against Moiraine for so fucking long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not without something happening to explicitly reinforce that.
Yes.
Like, we'd have to have something that would actually reinforce that instead of the other way.
Yeah.
Especially because she was the one who sent Lan after her. She was like, I mean, yes, admittedly, she was sending Lan primarily after Rand, but I mean, still, it was like, go to them, and like, her and Lan had that whole conversation about Lan's relationship with Moiraine.
Yeah.
And I mean, Nynaeve is not an idiot either. It's not like she's going to be like, at least she shouldn't go from what Lan told her and then just suddenly randomly decide that it doesn't matter. Like, Lan made it very, very clear that there's nothing romantic there, that he like cares for her, that Moiraine really is just, it's a friendship and nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much less reason for Nynaeve to hold on to that hatred.
Yeah.
I mean, not that there was a huge amount of reason in the books either, but.
Yes, yeah.
But it's like, without something to reinforce it, it'll be that much more ridiculous. Now, that said, I don't know if they're going to interact much.
This is the thing. I doubt, honestly, it seems like they're already, like, veering away from that sort of animosity. Like, it seems like season 1 was really the sort of headbutting between the two. We may get a bit of that in season 1, sorry.
Yeah.
We may get some of that in season 2. But you're right. They may not even, I mean, for all we know, they may not even interact really in season 2. Because from what we see,
I don't know that they're going to interact again until season 3. Yeah.
Yeah, they're literally in completely different places.
Or at the very end of season 2. But on the upside, we should get Nynaeve with Swan.
Yes.
And so that'll be I'm really interested to see how they're going to do that difference, right? Like,
oh, I'm excited.
The difference between Egwene and Nynaeve's relationship with Moiraine versus Egwene and Nynaeve's relationship with Swan.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really curious to see how that's going to play out. And also, to see if we do get some explicit realization on their part that, like, hey, there's something between those two that definitely doesn't match what the tower thinks.
Yeah.
Also, can Elaine, like, acknowledge that Moiraine's her aunt for more than half of a second? Like, please?
We'll see. I'm assuming so. I'm thinking that we'll get more.
I think we're gonna get drama dread.
Yeah.
Drama dread, yes, a lot. So since we're talking about the TV show, can I ask maybe we talked a little bit about that before, but maybe for Lux too. When season 1 came out, how confident were you that Swan and Moiraine was going to be a set?
I didn't think so.
Because I thought it would not be until I saw like some spoiler.
I missed all the spoilers. Episode 6 was a shock.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I thought...
Oh, you must not watch with subtitles then.
I do, but so that was the thing. So episode 3 was kind of my first inkling to go, oh shit, are they going there? But I did not dare believe that they really were going there. I thought that it was going to be like I think Camilla said in the past, that they were going to go with the like, oh, as a past relationship, they're just best friends now, and that's it.
Mhm.
And so episode 3, even with her saying Swan's name, because yeah, I watch everything with closed captioning, I still was like, are they going there, or is this just a reference to the past relationship because Maureen is clearly delirious?
Mhm.
And I just, after having been burned in so many shows, I did not dare hope. And then episode 6 happened, and I was like,
Yeah.
and then I started like screaming and bouncing and freaking out my dogs.
What a night that was. I remember
Yeah.
that was, oh my God, what a wonderful night that was. There was so much joy. Just oh,
And I know that James always say, like, you always like, yes, you knew Brave was going to go there. But I'm like, I don't trust anyone with queer relationship.
mhm.
I was very confident that Rafe was going to go full on gay. Also, after episode 5, was episode 5 when did Swan yell at Moraine? That was episode
It
6.
was episode 6.
Swan's only in episode 6.
She's only in episode 6, yeah.
Okay, so there was something that happened. Oh, it was episode 5 with the funeral and stuff. I said something on Twitter that was like, Moraine's going to go back to the tower and Swan's going to be like, how dare you?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to punish you.
I remember this, yes.
And then you skip ahead and it's like, okay, now for that punishment, mommy.
Mhm.
And then
Which is almost exactly what happened.
That's essentially what happens.
I had a friend message me that said, just so you know, you're gonna want to own that.
I love that so much. I love that.
Nice.
I was just holding on to that for a week and I'm just like,
It's so
Well,
good.
and in hindsight, you get Steppen in episode 4, right? Who's all like, well, I
Yeah.
heard she's going to come and drag you back to the tower personally. And so in hindsight, it's like,
Uh-huh.
Oh.
okay.
And then you get Alana saying, like, she has two powerful enemies in...
she's not happy with you.
Mhm. She's not happy with you.
Ouch.
Ooh.
She's not happy with you.
Ooh.
Very powerful enemies here. Maureen's just like, do
Uh-huh.
I? Do I really?
Right.
Do I? Interesting. Tell me more about these powerful enemies that I have.
On your knees.
I'm looking at this. I was scrolling through and I was trying to find like Soiree fan art. I'm looking at this set of 3 where one of them is basically Swan about to mount Moraine.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's very
oh,
good.
Sends a link.
Kimmy's like,
Yeah, please share.
give me?
I'm sure I've seen it, but please share anyway.
I think I know which one you're talking
Yeah,
about.
same.
It's like, is it like comic panels?
Oh, yes.
I love this art.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
So great.
Gorgeous. Yeah, it's so good.
There's so much good fan art out there in general for them. Like, oh my gosh.
And like,
And fanfic too.
oh yeah.
And fanfic too, yes.
Yeah. Really, when I finished New Spring, so that was August 2021,
Yeah.
like, I finished New Spring and I almost cried because I knew that I would not get Moraine and Swan.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, it's a big fantasy show. Moraine is the lead. They will never give us a queer lead in a fantasy show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got it.
I was really depressed when I finished that book, and I was like,
Oh.
shit, we're not gonna get anything. There's no way.
Yeah.
Well, especially once it became obvious that like he was that Rafe was making her, at least for season 1, the main character.
Mhm.
Because it's like, oh, if she'd stayed secondary status, maybe we could have hoped. But now that they made her the main, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then Rafe fixed it.
And then Rafe was like, oh, you thought, huh? Bitch, you thought? Okay.
James, you had something to say to me, and I want to hear it.
oh yeah, no, I was like, you getting emotional about a piece of media?
Never.
What?
I know, it's my big...
Shocking.
I know you've been kind of laughing at me about that, because I know that every few months...
I haven't been laughing.
No, I know you're not laughing. It's just like, yeah, every few months I'm gonna get very obsessed about something.
Yeah.
But it's also because, like, I mean, queer people don't grow up with representation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when we kind of feel like there's something there, it just... I love stories. I talk to my therapist about loving stories a little bit too much. That's a thing we're working on. But it just... I want to feel seen, and I love fantasy, and being able to feel like you could be the main characters in one of those adventure, because being a queer woman kind of doesn't prevent you from being there.
Mhm.
And yeah, it just
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like Rafe said at the that Amazon, the for your consideration thing, where it was like he actually explicitly talked about that, right? Like we don't get to see ourselves, and then
Yeah.
the ability to make the lead of this show, the badass lesbian sorceress, was like a really, really big deal
Yeah.
because we don't get to see that. Even
Mhm.
even in books, you kind of have to go seek that out if you're a fantasy fan, because
Yeah.
your mainstream fantasy, it's getting better now, but especially like when all of us were growing up and all, like that's not a thing.
No.
Like none of the mainstream fantasy books that I read growing up, which was because that was my favorite genre and still is one of my favorite genres, like
Mhm.
queer characters,
You
what?
didn't see it.
Yeah, like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
New Spring was the closest thing.
sometimes it's even woman what in mainstream fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's like the one woman. There'll be like one woman, and it's
Yes.
because she's the love interest of like, the hero dude.
Yeah.
I know David Eddings himself is like a shitbag, but like at least there were multiple women in those books
Mhm.
who got to be pretty awesome.
Mhm.
And it's one of the reasons I love those books, even as problematic as both the books and the author are.
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes you just kind of have to go, yeah, but at least there was like not just the one woman who was the love interest. So
Yeah. No. I mean, definitely.
What was y'all's like first same-sex book that you read that had like same-sex fictional characters?
oh shit.
Oh gosh.
For me, it was Brain.
Fuck. I don't even know.
Huh. I don't know, actually.
I don't either.
For me, it was The Last Herald Mage by Mercedes Lackey.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I never actually read a lot of Mercedes Lackey, but recently I've been like, I should go back and read those.
I love Valdemar, despite the fact that Mercedes Lackey currently is a little problematic.
Is, but not as problematic as some other authors from that era. So
No, and you know what? She also has a lot of like health conditions and health issues that I
Yeah.
wonder.
affect things.
I saw her a few years ago at Emerald City Comic Con, and I'm like, you're not well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
So the thing is that I'm really trying to think it through, and I cannot find anything because the thing is that
I know.
at first I had fanfics.
Yeah.
I had fanfics in the few TV show I was watching, and like I think I had a little bit of fanfic of sapphic fanfic in the Harry Potter fandom. It was so rare.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was like the Glee fandom.
Yeah.
Then there was a few other fandoms that I stayed shorter, longer, whatever.
Yeah.
Then there was Sanverse, which is like the one that I met Lurk through. But like books,
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't remember, because I read, like, Jennifer Roberson and CJ Scher, like, all of those as a kid. I can't remember any same-sex relationships in there.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I know for a fact there is one. It's pretty much in passing in the background in the Dragon Riders of Pern books.
Okay.
And so that was probably the first ones, if only because I know for a fact I read those books when I was quite young. And so that would have most likely been the first one.
Dragons of Past, there's some queer characters there?
They're in the background, but yeah, there are at least a couple gay men in the background in the Dragon Riders of Pern books.
Oh.
Maybe.
So it was probably those, if only because I don't think I caught it at the time, or I vaguely remember kind of being like, huh, and then like moving on because again, they're fairly background.
Yeah.
But I also do know I read those books when I was quite young. They were some of the first fantasy books I did read, so it was most likely those, but I could not swear to it.
Yeah, honestly, the first book with queer character, like book and not fanfic, was maybe like Gideon the Ninth earlier this year. Like this year.
I was gonna say I don't think I can't think of one that I like happened to come across. All of the queer like rep that I've read in books has been because they're books that I've sought out.
Yeah.
And because there's queer rep.
Yeah.
It's never been like, oh, I've read this and like sort of come across it. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, not this year, but like in the past, like 3 or 4 years, probably. Like it's pretty recent.
Yeah. And especially if we're talking where it was like an actual like
relationship.
main couple that was not, again, just like in the background where it's like, oh, those two like male dragon riders are apparently a couple.
Yeah.
It would have almost certainly have been Pyramid Waltz by Barbara Ann Wright back in the mid-2000s, probably.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm trying to remember when I first met Barbara.
Yeah.
Oh, so no, it would have been, it would have been probably like 2013-ish, actually.
Okay.
2012, 2013-ish, because Pyramid Waltz did not come out till 2012. But I know I read it not long after it came out because the sequel was not yet out at the time. And the main characters in that, like, it's a lesbian couple. So I think that would have probably been the first ones where, I really started to kind of seek it out in actual novels and not fanfic. But I'd been reading, obviously, queer fanfic for forever between Buffy and Xena and all these fandom that have lots of sapphic ships in them.
Oh, yeah. Lots of sapphic ships.
The Xena fandom. It's Xena and Gabrielle, and then occasionally somebody remembers that there's men.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's a good description of it.
I mean, that's the Xena fandom.
So all of this to say is that we are craving for representation. So yes, I can get obsessed sometimes for representation, but it's because I really need it, okay? It's for my mental health.
No, yeah. I was literally just like, I wonder what you guys... Because
James is like, I just want to participate.
I read... No, it wasn't that. It was just, I read The Last Herald... Like, The Last Herald Mage was published before I was born.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. I didn't realize it'd been around that long.
Like, it is the first gay male... Or it's the first, like, I think it's the first gay epic fantasy, or the first epic fantasy to feature a gay protagonist from a mainstream publisher.
Okay.
So it was just, I mean, it's been around for like 33 years now, so.
Nice.
Now I feel old, but wow.
Yes, I'm sorry to tell you, Lux. You're the oldest here.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest here, yes.
Yes, you are.
Thanks, Camille.
I don't know, Kat's pretty old.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Are you? I don't know.
I'm 34. 34.
Yeah. How old are you, James?
So I'm the oldest of these
32.
kiddos.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I am definitely the oldest here today, unless Matt is like way older than I think he is.
No.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's not. Can confirm he is not.
I am many, not many, but I am many years older than you, which Camille knew. It's okay.
Camille's like 12, so it's fine.
I like my fandom elder status. It's fun.
I have fandom elder status in the sense that I've been in the fandom for longer than most of you people.
Well, I mean fandom in general. Like, it's like, oh geez, how long has it been since I started in fandom? At least a quarter of a century.
Aw.
Yeah.
I can never remember if I was 13 or 12, but I know it was before high school.
So, how do we want the TV show to go regarding Moiraine and Swan? Because I'm watching the time, so I'm like, yeah, I know, Endgame. But what else?
Yeah. So I can't remember who proposed this theory. Of having Swan be one of the ones who goes to rescue Moiraine in the tower.
Yes.
Instead of like doing a swap-a-rooney and having Swan be one of the ones, which would make so much more sense.
Be perfect.
So much more sense. Perfection.
And then you could still have a wedding afterward. Only one that actually makes sense.
Exactly.
I mean, not that they're not already married, but
they're, yeah. And to talk about that for a second.
Oh, yeah. We didn't talk about that.
That line where, like, I will not return until she calls me home, that is going to come back somehow. I don't know how, but it's going to come back. It will come back. It will probably be devastating, but it will come back. And I'm very excited to see what the context surrounding it is going to be.
Rafe actually said that, like, yeah, there will be consequences for her rephrasing of the oath that we're going to see, and they're going to be not only consequences she expected, but probably ones she did not. And I'm really, really interested to see how that's going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
I really kind of hope, though, that one of them is Elida trying to, like, call her back to the tower, and Moiraine being like, can't, sorry.
I love that. Can't. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye, bitch. Bye, bitch.
But, yeah, that's gonna...
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
How do you guys feel about... So I don't know if you know, but there's been some... So Donald Finn, during the convention he was in, kind of revealed that Matt was going to go to Cairhien. So I feel like we're going to have a bit more characters than we think going to Cairhien. And we feel like Swan is probably going to go there. Moiraine's probably going to go there.
Yeah.
Which means probably going to be... like, at first I was not expecting for them to have some time together, but maybe we will.
Same.
I kind of think they might now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've changed my mind on this.
I think maybe that scene of Swan getting out of the carriage may be in Cairhien.
I think it might be in Cairhien. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I do love this. Like, because Moiraine is going to be at her lowest point in this season. She is going to be going through it this season. It's going to be horrible, but I can't wait. I'm very excited because I know Rosamund Pike
Oh God.
is going to bring it. But I mean, is Moraine going to push Swan away when Swan tries to like reach out to her?
I think she might try. I just don't know that it will be effective because
Will it be effective? Because
Swan's so stubborn. You know,
Oh.
Swan is going to be like,
Both are stubborn.
both are extremely stubborn.
but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
that news and after the trailer, the combination of,
Mhm.
I think we might see them together in Kyrian.
I think so too.
And I think Maureen's going to at least try to push her away. I just don't really think Swan's going to let her.
No, I
I mean, she'll obviously have to leave to go back to Tarvalon, but like
yeah.
in the interpersonal way, I think Swan's going to be like, I don't care what you say. Like, I still love you.
Yeah.
Get over it.
James, you're I saw you doing the beautiful minding thing with like
No, well, yes. I was just thinking, like, because they cast Barthanes,
yes. Mhm.
so I'm wondering if, like, Moraine retires to Carrion to her family home or something, and
Uh-huh.
then part of her plot in discovering how to be a non-one power user is uncovering and defeating Barthanes, who is a
Ooh,
dark friend.
That would be
And
fascinating.
then Swan can come in.
Well, honestly, now that Tom is not
I'm good with
there, like the political thing in Carine, that's going to be Moraine.
Moraine is going to be all over that.
I'm so intrigued to see that. Like,
Yeah.
please give me all
Yeah.
of the messy Kyrianan politics and the Damodred politics in particular.
Oh,
Like,
oh,
you know,
those messy
Yeah.
drama dreads.
the drama
They are
dreads, man.
always-
The drama dreads.
The drama dreads. They're always on some shit.
They
I love
are.
it. I love it.
I feel like she's not necessarily going to retire to Kyrian. I do think she's going to go to Kyrian in this
Mhm.
because it's canonical, at least in the books, and I can't see why Rafe would necessarily change this for the show, that
Mhm.
Kyrian's library is second only to the one in
Yes.
Tarvalon. And Moraine obviously cannot go
Right.
back to Tarvalon right now, partly because she doesn't have the power. Also because if she shows up in Tarvalon, people are like, what the fuck, weren't you exiled?
Yeah.
It would be a good place for her to, I mean, instead of going to Van Dien and
Mhm.
Yeah.
Adeles's place, because that's a random cottage. They're already doing their lesbian thing.
Yeah.
That is not a lesbian cottagecore.
I know they're sisters, but whatever.
It is not lesbian cottagecore, but it reads like lesbian cottagecore.
It does. Very much so.
I was so confused.
And you know what?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just they were sisters.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
In the sense that, like, Maureen and...
I do wonder if that was like a retcon. Were they like originally written to be like
Yeah.
lesbians and then like got told that he can't have a lesbian couple, so he made them actual sisters but didn't change how they're written?
You have one already.
Or is this just yet more of
Yet more of RJ's accidental.
inability to actually write like siblings and people in healthy relationships?
It's like Maureen and Joanne from Rent. Like, in the line, and they're
Sure.
like,
Sisters? We're close.
we're sisters. We're close.
We're close. Yeah. Very much that.
Sisters? We're close.
That is the vibe that they're giving off for sure.
But yeah, I don't see any reason for. I agree. I don't see any reason to have like those two random Aes Sedai. I'm honestly not entirely sure Van Dien and Adelius or whatever like even make it into the show.
Oh, I would be so surprised if they did.
If they do, I wouldn't expect it until Ebu Dar, but I don't think they do. I just don't see any reason for them.
No.
As much as I actually do really like them in the books, I don't
Yeah.
see any reason for them. I feel like what plot they do have could easily go to others.
They don't have a big plot.
Right, that's why I said what little plot they do have.
If Moraine needs someone's help, like maybe it could be a way to introduce Verin.
Varen.
But other than that,
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering is if she goes to Kyrian to do research and Varen is in Kyrian in the library, who's Brown's sister.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how you loop Varen into the plot, and then
Uh-huh.
like Rand shows up there because of his wanderings.
Mm-hmm.
Matt flees Tarvalon ahead of Leandrin, ends up there, and then Swan comes because reasons. My biggest thing is I'm not actually sure how to get Swan there, because like why would she leave Tarvalon without like she left Tarvalon in the Great Hunt for a good reason to go like collect the girls and everything,
Yes.
but like that may or may not exist. I guess we don't know.
but the show make it canon that she's not always in Tarvalon because she was in Caemlyn before episode 6.
That's true. It could be as simple as a coincidence, a Taviran-inspired coincidence that she's come to Kyrian for some sort of diplomatic mission.
Yeah. Could be. And I mean, it really does depend on like what storyline they give. Yeah, like what they give to Swan this season. I'm thinking, just because I can't think of a reason for them to really change it, I'm thinking it's going to be similar to the books, where she's the Amyrlin Seat, and she will, like, we'll see her sort of develop connections between Egwene and Nynaeve and probably Elaine, but like, I think outside of that, we really don't know specifically what's going to be going on with Swan this season. And so it's anyone's guess at this point.
Since it's so clear that Rafe is taking the proper time to really set up the Tower politics and the coup and everything early, like we've already started laying those seeds. Yeah, I do feel like it could be as simple as she's in Cairhien doing her Amyrlin Seat thing, and it happens to be the same time as Moiraine, possibly ta'veren influenced, to get them together, or pattern influenced at least, to get them together. Yeah. Maybe to convince Moiraine, like, it doesn't matter if you don't have the one power, you still have to protect the dragon.
Right.
Maybe to untie her shield, whatever, which I would love to fucking see that. Like, please. Oh, God, I would love to see that.
I would love to see it. Are you kidding?
It would be amazing. Oof. Even if all she does is try, I would love to see it.
Yeah.
But, like, if only to try and conclude that, hey, this is just a shield.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I think it's also a good opportunity if Rand and Swan are in the same town to have them meet, actually, because that's actually a nice scene in The Great Hunt.
It's one of my favorite scenes in The Great Hunt. It really is.
I really like that scene. I feel like we're missing some kind of iconic moments from The Great Hunt that we haven't gotten there yet. And I'm thinking that we're going to get some of those, at least. Yeah, like, I think we'll get them. We may get them in a different order or in a slightly different way, but I think like we'll get those moments still, and I am excited.
No, that is like honestly one of my absolute favorite scenes from The Great Hunt is baby Borderlander Lord Rand.
Yeah.
Going to meet the Amyrlin Seat, and Swan just being like, "Are you fucking
kidding
me, Lan?
Me?
Like, seriously, Lan? Seriously?"
Yeah.
I love the part in The Great Hunt where where Moiraine and Siuan are talking, and Siuan briefly saw Rand and was like, he terrified me, because she can see the glow around him.
Yeah.
And I think that would be really, really interesting to have in the show, because they had Logain.
They did.
That throwback.
Yeah, I don't know that Swan can see ta'veren. I feel like, it seems pretty clear. I think her talent is going to be dreaming to some extent.
Right.
Which I think works really well to tie her closer to Egwene.
It does.
But there's no reason she can't have had a dream that makes her say something very similar.
For sure.
Well, yeah. Like, I'm just, because the way they did it, Logain didn't see the glow around Rand. It was just, we knew what we were looking at.
But he may have seen the glow around Nynaeve. It's still very unclear as to what he saw around Nynaeve. Did she just, like,
you have no idea,
literally make it light up? Or did he see her ta'verenness going, boom?
I think she just literally, like, he wasn't seeing anything. Yeah, Sarah cleared it up.
I think he saw the after effects. Yeah.
That's right. She did clarify that Nynaeve actually, like, legit just, like, lit up the cave.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah, because legit was just like...
Because it's Nynaeve.
Kamehameha.
She did a Kamehameha inside the cave and just, like...
made everything glow. Because it's Nynaeve.
Things went bananas. Because it's Nynaeve. And that's how she rolls.
It is how she rolls. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to get a lot more of those iconic scenes than certain people think we will. They're just not going to be word for word from the book, and that's okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. Well, we got, like, iconic scenes from Eye of the World.
We have, yeah. And they've been pretty close, yeah.
With the exception of, like, weird Skyrand, which, I'm sorry, we don't need 2 Skyrands.
We don't need 2 Skyrands.
Also, Eye of the World, Skyrand didn't make sense either. Yeah. We really don't. Yeah, we get 3 Skyrands, I guess, actually, in the first 3 books. Jesus Christ.
We get 3 of them. And basically back to back to back.
We have a Skyrand in... Tear.
Well, it's like the end of the first 3 books is Rand and his weird ass space sky.
Rand battling Shamael.
Yeah, can we not? We don't need 3 of those. I think we're gonna get exactly 1 of those, and it will be at the end of season 2.
And it will be great.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure it will look really cool. And that's all we need. We don't need more. We're good.
Rand, settle down. Moiraine on the ground. Please stop.
Oh my god. Did we ever talk about the Tower of Genji?
We mentioned it very briefly.
You briefly mentioned it.
We did. That's true. Okay.
Yeah. And yes,
Yeah.
Swan needs to go there to... Because, okay, just how iconic it would be. Because this is basically... So I don't like saying that Moraine is a damsel in distress, being saved from a big tower.
But
she kind of is in that situation. And I mean, the guy saving the girl from a big tower, it's like such a classic trope that we never got to see in a queer way. So I kind of want to get it.
I want it so bad.
Me too.
I want it so bad. Also, I feel like they're in a lot of ways the show is really setting up well so far for then Tom to replace Noel Jane Farstrider there and be the one who sacrifices himself, which I think would be really nice because
He needs to die.
he does need to die, but also just like I think it works so well, right? Where you have him after what happened with his nephew, and then of course at some point it's going to come out, and I imagine he will find out about the fact that like Moraine. When I thought Tom and Matt were going to be start the Tom Matt adventures in season 2, this made more sense, but it's like I feel like it's going to come out that Moraine is the one who sent the Black Aja after Matt. And if Tom ever finds out about that, and so you've got all of this good backstory there on both of their parts, that to have then Tom be the one to go, yeah, I'm going to sacrifice myself to save her, even though she's an Aes Sedai, I think would just be really, really powerful. Because you've got Matt giving up the eye for the woman who sent the Red Aja after him, Tom sacrificing himself for an Aes Sedai, even though Aes Sedai killed his nephew, and then Swan there for the, the romance aspect of getting to go, save her wife. And then they can get married.
And then they can get married.
Again, renew their vows. They can renew their vows.
Yes, vow renewal. Everyone loves a good vow renewal, for sure.
I'm sure there's plenty different wedding tradition in Randland. They can get married in every one of those traditions. Okay?
Oh, yes. That's a nice idea.
That's what they're going to do after the last battle. They're just going to go get married in every single wedding tradition, except probably the Sea Folk.
Yeah.
we can skip that one.
Probably.
They can skip that one, but all the others.
They can just do a hop skip over that.
That's how they spend their next decade. It's just every year they go get married somewhere else, and then they take a year-long honeymoon.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, cute. So, is there anything else we want to say about Thrawn?
They're amazing, and we love them.
We love them. They're going to be in game. They have to be in game.
I love Sophie Okonedo.
Oh, yes.
Magnificent. And I love her portrayal of Swan so much.
They're acting. Rewatching episode 6 last night, just the two of them.
It's so good. I will never be over Rosamund Pike sitting down to write a passionate letter to Miss Sophie Okonedo.
Please come be my wife.
Please accept the part. Please come be my wife.
I want to see that letter so bad.
I want to see that letter.
Me too. I want to see it. Listen, can we just get, I don't need a lot. I'm not asking for a lot. I just want one interview with Sophie Okonedo and Rosamund Pike talking about episode 6. It doesn't even need to be on screen. It can just be episode commentary. They just do the episode commentary for that episode.
It'd be amazing.
That would make my heart so happy.
And we will once again hear Rosamund tell the story about how you had to make sure that the Othron didn't look like a dildo.
Didn't look like a dildo, yeah.
I want to know what Sophie Okonedo's thoughts on that are.
I would love to know that. Oh my god.
Amazing.
Because I have a suspicion they've talked about this at length.
Oh, I'm sure they have.
They've talked about this at length. And still.
I'm sure they must have filmed that and kept laughing a bit.
Right. Yeah, how did they keep a straight face and actually look devastated instead of just laughing their asses off?
Instead of just laughing, yeah.
Things I want to know.
Rafe, are you listening?
How many shenanigans were there on set with the Oath Rod?
Oh, that's a good question.
Honestly, at this stage, I would pretty much enjoy just, not even with Rosamund Pike, but just Sophie Okonedo interview, because we didn't get at all. No press thing from her side, which, I understand she's only there for one episode.
Yeah.
But it would be nice.
I think she also had a very busy filming year too. That is my... That is from what I get, because she was in a lot of stuff last year. There was a lot that came out featuring her, which is fantastic. I love that for her. I love for her to be booked and busy. But I think, unfortunately, it did mean that we didn't get maybe as much content as we potentially could have.
And I think she's going to be busy next year too.
Yeah.
She's going to be busy next year.
Because there's already the play she has
Yeah, she's in. There was a movie I think announced too.
She's doing a movie with Gal Gadot. Another movie with Gal Gadot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so she's good for her, but
Yeah. Well, and I think like as Swan's role becomes larger moving forward, we'll have a lot better shot of getting some of that too.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, now we're really going to start getting into the meat of those plots and the White Tower plots and Egwene, of course, as that rolls on, that I think we have a much better shot of getting some of that in future seasons.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got something in season 2, like after season, while either like, sometime during the season 2 airing, if we got a little bit of something, because I'm thinking she's going to feature more prominently.
Exactly. Well, and especially because we all know, I shouldn't say we know, but we can kind of speculate that, season 3, that is going to be that final ramp up to the coup.
Oh yeah, I think it has to be.
Yeah, I think season 3 has to end with the coup, which is going to be devastating.
I fully intend I think the coup is going to happen in season 2.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because
I think it's too much.
Rafe has said season 3 is going to be pretty closely to Shadow Rising. I think 2 is going to continue to ramp up the politics. And then I think 3 might actually end up with a very close parallel of the coup and then the doorway.
Yeah, that is my thinking as well.
I'm kind of thinking that we're going to have the coup middle of season 3. So we also get Moraine learning about the coup before the doorway.
And then end with the doorway. Yeah.
I could see that as well. But either way, I still think it's going to be a season 3 thing.
Yeah. I think there's just too much that has to happen in season 2 for them to also add the coup in. Because like there's so much, like we know the Battle of Falma is happening. Like there's so, like we know that Egwene and Nynaeve, like they're going to be kidnapped. There's so much happening.
Well, we're basically combining 2 books.
Yeah.
I mean, even granting that like Great Hunt and Dragon Reborn do have huge chunks of like slowness.
Yes.
It's still a lot. And I think that would also just be too fast. I don't think you could properly ramp up to the coup with only one more season. I think you need at least another half season. And I actually like Allie from Wheel Takes it's Allie's speculation that how Moraine gets to the docks is instead of the weird, hey Rand, I have something to show you, that it's actually she's on the docks trying to decide whether to go back to Tar Valon. And then Lanfear shows up and all of that goes down. And like, that would actually be...
I would love that.
Makes more sense because now we don't have the weird, Rand, come to the docks with me for no apparent reason. But it'll also be that much more devastating, right? Like, she's trying to get home, doesn't know if she can, doesn't know if her wife's alive, and then fucking Lanfear. And then sacrifices herself.
Fucking Lanfear.
And then like you cut, and like maybe that's when like you cut to find out that Swan really is alive or Swan has escaped.
Yeah.
And Moraine goes through a doorway, Swan escapes from Tar Valon. Would that not be
them both going through doors?
Yeah.
But to different,
like one to death and one to freedom. It would just such a perfect way to end a season.
Rafe, please.
Rafe Iris.
Are you listening? There's some good shit here.
It'd be such a devastating way to end the season.
Devastating? Oh yeah, are you kidding me?
I mean, like devastating in the best way.
Oh, for sure. The parallels. Think of the parallels.
Right?
I'm already imagining the gifts that I could make from that. Oh my god.
Oh, the acting for all of oh my god, the acting for all of this is just gonna be like devastating the absolute best way.
Off the charts.
I have a hard enough time reading about the coup in Shadow Rising.
Oh.
Like I actually bogged down on my
I put
reread.
down the book.
Yeah, like well on my current reread, I like started the Shadow Rising and then I put it down for like a good month because I did not want to continue reading because I knew the coup was coming. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Reading that and then picturing Sophie, I was like, oh.
And she does gut wrenching so well. Like
Oh, it's gonna be.
God, I'm excited.
It's gonna be so devastating.
It's gonna be devastating and wonderful.
Especially given who I think is gonna actually die instead of Ulrich.
Anyway, since we are sad and everything, do we want to do a short game that is a little bit more soft?
Yeah.
So I got inspired by a poll on another fandom. So between Moraine and Swan, who's the bigger spoon? Who's the big spoon and who's the small spoon?
Swan is the big spoon.
Oh.
Swan is the big spoon.
No, I think Moraine is the big spoon.
Why?
I don't need to justify this.
You don't need to justify.
I just think it is.
Dox, what do you think?
I think they switch, but it's Swan more often than Moraine.
Oh. Yeah, they switch, we know.
They're both clearly switches.
I think season 6 or episode 6 proved that. But I do think in the grand scheme of things, it skews slightly more towards Swan being the big spoon, but not like
Yeah.
significantly so.
I mean, if anything, Maureen is a bratty bottom, as we've discussed at length in
100%.
fandom. She's a bratty bottom,
Um,
which, like, I don't know why anyone thought that she was a top to begin with, but
how
anyway.
could you not watch episode 6 and come out of it going anything but yeah, she's a brat? But
Am I forgiven, Mother? Are you kidding me?
like, I love her.
Are you kidding me?
She's so fucking cocky after she has sex too, though.
Right?
Like all those scenes afterwards, Maureen's just like, "You thought I was self-assured before? I saw my wife last night."
She is bouncing. She is vibing. She is having a great time.
Swan Sanche waits for only one woman, and it's not you.
And it's not you. Yeah.
The delivery of that line is just iconic.
Listen, that is what good sex will do to you. It gives you unreasonably high confidence. Your confidence is just like,
But is it unreasonable in Maureen's case? Because, it's Maureen.
no, you know what? You're right. It's not unreasonable. You're right. I take it back.
She knows her worth.
She does.
Yeah,
And,
she does.
Maureen's a fucking badass. I mean, they both are. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
So next question. After a fight, which one apologized first?
Neither.
I don't think either of them do. I don't think either of them do. Because you know what? I don't picture either of them admitting they were wrong.
But someone has to apologize at some point. They're not gonna stay.
No, they don't. You can just not acknowledge it.
I think they just don't.
That's not good.
Or they make up for it in a different way.
Yes. I think
Yeah.
they make up for it. I agree with you, James.
Yes.
Like maybe someone like makes dinner or something.
Yes.
And no one says a goddamn thing about it.
yeah, it's 100% a nonverbal, like, mutual,
100%.
okay, we're moving on, and we're
Yes.
not necessarily acknowledging that either of us was at fault, but we are moving forward.
We acknowledge that we don't like being at odds, and we want to make that better.
But I'm not acknowledging in any way that I was wrong and you were right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
never.
I'm sorry, I can't picture either of them.
It would. I think it would. I could see them doing it every once, but it'd have to be something very extreme. I think for either of them to actually
Yeah.
like admit it. Like it would have to be something big.
Yeah.
In the average your day-to-day life, I think they just do the okay. We're done. We moved on.
They
and
do the cute makeup thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So since James mentioned cooking, who cooks for the other?
I think it's Swan.
Because Swan knows how to cook. Moraine doesn't know how to cook a goddamn thing.
I was going to say, I don't think that Maureen knows how to cook is the thing. I can see Maureen making an attempt at cooking and it going poorly.
And that would be cute.
And it would be very
And I
cute.
would love to see it. I would
Me
love
too.
to see her pull out like burnt cookies out of the oven or something.
Yeah. And Swan being like, thank you. And just being, trying to be nice and trying to eat the cookie.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I think it'd be Maureen. I don't think Swan's ever had to learn how to cook.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think Swan's ever had to learn how to cook. She left home at a very young age, and she's lived in the fucking tower, and then she became the goddamn Amerlin. Like, when did Swan have to learn to cook? Whereas Maureen has been traveling and is like, well, if one of us doesn't cook.
But she learned how to fish.
She learned how to fish. What do you think she did with
Yeah.
that?
I think she was a very small child, and her father probably did it.
Define small child. She went to the tower when she was old enough to channel, which is when they detected it.
Well, so in the book, she's like, 14? But in the show, like, she's only like 8.
She's quite young.
Okay, she's 14 though.
Is she?
She's 14 though.
The actress
She's
was
14,
literally like
though.
9 years old.
I think we're gonna ignore that.
I think Maureen definitely learned how to cook while traveling, and at worst, they both know how to cook. But I don't agree that Maureen can't cook.
I am sorry. I will stand my ground. Moraine does not know how to cook.
Oh no.
Lan has been doing the cooking all time.
That's 100% accurate.
Moraine grew up in Carinian.
Kyrian?
She was a noble. She went to the tower. People cooked
Yeah.
for her.
People cooked for Swan too.
She went on a journey and she ate rations for a little bit before she met Lan, and now Lan cooks everything.
Poor Lan.
I'm sorry. I do have to. I think I'm with James on this
We'll
one.
have to agree to disagree.
I love you, Maureen. I don't think that woman knows how to cook.
I'm not saying Swan doesn't necessarily know how to cook, but I do think that, like,
But you think Maureen is the?
yeah, I think at a minimum they both cook.
They both cook. Okay.
Okay, well, let's say your last question, and we're gonna stop there.
He's like, I have started something.
What have I done?
Who is the competitive one on game night?
Moraine.
Moraine.
Yeah, I would go with Moraine. I can see Suan entertaining it and thinking it's cute.
Yes,
Totally.
100%. Absolutely.
How about Swan is competitive when it's not with Moraine, but when Moraine's there,
Yes.
she's not because she thinks it's adorable how competitive Moraine is. But if it's with anybody else, Swan is gonna kick your fucking ass.
Yes. Because and that's very much her energy when Moraine is ranting at her in episode 6. She's ranting at her and Swan's just like, oh,
My little pufferfish.
my little pufferfish.
We had not mentioned My Little Pufferfish.
She's just like, and not in like a condescending way. Yeah. Yeah, I think Moraine is 100% the one who's like, no, I need to win.
And Swan's okay with that, as long as she's losing to Moraine. But anybody else, Swan's gonna be like, game nights with Alana, you're going down. And not in the good
You're
way.
going down.
Not in the fun way.
Not in a good way.
Not in the way that you were angling for. So,
Oops. Okay. Lurks, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Oh, yeah, well, obviously I'm in y'all's Discord. I am also on Twitter, @Lurks05, and I am occasionally on Tumblr when I remember that it exists. Also, I think that one is just @Lurks, though.
Okay.
yeah.
I would like to say there are
Mhm.
currently 4 votes in the poll of Moraine. Does Moraine know how to cook? And all 4 of them say no.
You put a poll.
100%.
Yeah, there's a poll on Twitter right now. There are 5 votes. There are 5 votes that say no, Moraine does not know how to cook.
And you know what? There's about to be 6 votes, baby.
But now there is one yes vote, damn it.
Baby, god damn it. I love
Sorry.
it. I'm sorry. I can't imagine Moraine. Yeah.
I want Rafe to prove you all wrong. That'd be amazing. Rafe, show us that Moraine is actually a gourmet cook.
So this is more my thing. I don't think it's that Moraine is necessarily incapable of cooking. I think she just doesn't. Like, it's a choice that she makes.
I think it's a combination of it. I think she could make something if she really wanted to, but it's like 1 or 2 things, and it's going to be like simple shit like cream of wheat.
She makes cream of wheat.
That is what she knows how to. She can make that if she tries really hard.
It's funny because that whole discussion just remind me that actually in The Dragon Reborn, when they are traveling with Perrin keeps complaining that Moraine's never helped for the cooking and anything.
See? I'm telling you.
I thought Moraine made them fish so that then she would cook.
No.
No, it was the other way around. She fished.
She fished and then they made them cook. Okay.
And she was like, here you go. Make that food.
In her defense, she did the fishing and there were people there to cook.
Oh, I agree. I agree with her. I agree with her reasoning. I'm just saying that this adds to the evidence like stacked against Moraine of like I don't think it's necessarily a technique issue. It's more of a willingness in her spirit.
There are 10 votes, and you are the only person.
I can believe that, but I mean, if the question is purely does she know how to cook, I say yes, Moraine knows how to cook. Now, if the question is will she cook, I think that is a whole different question, and I could totally buy that. Yeah, Moraine would mostly be like, if I don't have to, I won't.
Define cook, though. If I'm making a sandwich, am I cooking?
She can throw down in the kitchen.
I think she can cook. I especially think she could cook fish because I think Swan taught her. I just don't know that. I agree that like she probably doesn't cook often if she doesn't have to. But I do think Moraine can genuinely cook if she needs to. Like if she feels that she needs to, I think she could. She just probably doesn't. But I view those as 2 different questions.
But cook what?
She can boil an egg.
I don't think she could cook fish.
I totally think Swan taught her how to cook fish.
I think she tried.
Or she learned so that she could give Swan her home dishes.
No, she tried, and it's always cute.
I agree. I'm sorry, Lurks. I'm sorry. I'm 100% in agreement with James. I agree. I see it so clearly.
I know. I'm like, I am seeing this entire like comic panel in front of me.
100%.
Just being like, she pulls it out of the oven and she's like, this isn't good.
She's doing her best.
But she puts it in front of Suan and Suan is like, And then Suan goes and makes it.
Yes.
Yeah. Swan quickly learned not to let Moraine in the kitchen.
Yes. She appreciates the effort.
I think at most she asks Moraine to cut the vegetables, and that's it.
Yes. Moraine is a great helper in the kitchen. That I 100% agree with. She's a helper. She helps when she can. She cuts up the veggies. She does like the prep and stuff like that. She can probably season the fish.
Even there, I wouldn't agree.
Camille's like, even that, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm seasoning. That seems a little advanced.
Poor Moraine.
She is familiar with what salt is. She does not know its uses.
To be fair, it is canonical that isn't it canonical that Kyrianan food is kind of bland? Am I like totally hallucinating that? I feel like that was something that came up.
I mean,
I could be completely making
it
that up.
sounds
though.
believable.
It does sound believable, but I don't know if that's actually real.
I mean, I would be offended considering that Karen is a mix of like France.
France and Japan.
Is that Japan? Yeah, maybe. Or
Is it? I think it's Japan.
I mean, it's very French.
It is very French, but it was either Japan or China. I think it was Japan. Either way, they're not, the English.
They should, yes, they know their spice. They should know their spices. Yeah.
Theoretically, they should know their spices.
Kemlin should have less spice than Karen.
That
true.
is so true. The real reason the girls were like shocked at the food in Tanchico or Abu Dar or wherever, they were like, holy shit, people know how to use spice. What the fuck? There's flavor.
There is flavor in this food. Yeah, 100%.
Why is there flavor? I don't understand.
They've been craving some good flavored food.
You know, Two Rivers is like the blandest shit. Even Moraine was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Get me out of this."
No.
Oh, no.
I think it's the opposite. No. It's the opposite in the Two Rivers.
I'm sorry, her honey cakes were not flavorless, and that is rude and disparaging to Mistress Alvier.
Do not talk about the honey cakes.
There's a difference between honey cakes though and like your main courses.
Main course? That's true.
Like, because even British desserts are going to be flavorful because of sugar and everything. It's the other food that they don't know how to cook.
It's the main, like the savory stuff, you mean?
Yeah. It's the savory stuff that you don't know how to season.
I feel like they season in the Two Rivers. This should become, maybe we should investigate more of this.
Yeah.
The cultures of Wheel of Time and food.
Because they were definitely shocked by the food, at least in like, I think it was Tanchico, where they were like, what on earth? This is insane.
What is happening?
And it was clearly just like Chinese food or
I
whatever.
interpreted that to mean that it was spicy or something.
It was spicy.
Or it was like an umami flavor. And they're like, what the fuck is umami?
Well, they were clearly shocked by the chopsticks. We know that, because they were like, why do you want us to use sticks? What the hell?
Yes.
And then they were like, there's forks under the napkin. It was very white people go to the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, but like typically when we talk about spice, like French doesn't use spice, we use herbs. But that
Yes.
doesn't mean the food is bland.
No, because there's flavor to it. Yeah.
So maybe there's that too. Anyway, who wants to read the outro?
Not me, because I closed the doc.
Okay. No, I can read it. 1 second. Let me get it up. Let me get it up.
I know how hard it is for you to get it up. I don't know where I was going with that.
Listen, I will not hear anything, James.
I'm sorry. I'm here to uplift your sapphic voice today.
Thank you. At least for today. Give the illusion of uplifting my sapphic voice.
By the way, Matt couldn't be here for this episode.
Did we not say that? Oh, God damn it.
No, we said it before we started recording.
Did we say it before we started recording?
Oh my God.
By the way, Matt couldn't be here for this episode.
Oh my God.
Matt was doing the book crawl and could not be here. Please remember that we acknowledged this.
We did acknowledge this.
I thought we acknowledged it at the beginning, but maybe it was before recording.
It was before we recorded.
Oh boy.
I'm
Okay.
very sorry, Matt. We think about
I'm sorry,
you.
Matt. I love you, Matt.
We miss you.
I do miss Matt. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Queers of Time podcast. If you liked our show, please give us a review on Apple Podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Queers of Time and our Discord server. If you're able to, we'd love to have your support through Patreon. It's really expensive producing this podcast. We have lots of benefits. We just revamped, right? That is now available on the website.
Yeah.
We just revamped the tiers. So we shuffled some things around, and so you get a little more stuff, and it's really good. Yeah, we have monthly posts now. that more people have access to. And it's exciting.
Yeah, when we think about writing the post, one day I will remember to write mine.
One day.
I have one in drafts. It started and then I was putting it in a draft and then it got too big, so I turned it into a Word document and it's like 5 pages long. And I'm like, look, maybe I'm making up for lost time.
What were you writing?
It's about the evolution of our logo, and I'm getting way hard into like the graphic design and all that stuff.
Oh, that's cool. I love that.
That's cool.
That will be interesting.
It was the one I said I was going to do 6 months ago.
And wait a second. Am I the only one that regularly posts the monthly posts?
Yes.
Yes, you definitely are.
Yes.
Followed by Matt?
Yes, Matt is fairly regularly.
I have not done any.
I think Matt is doing mostly book reviews.
He is.
But
yeah.
his monthly post, I think, he did it a few times. I did mine a few times, but then I knew what I wanted to talk about. And it just the last few months, I've been so fucking busy.
I know.
I just, I know what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
It's just I need to sit down and write it down, and I just don't have the time.
It's just carving out the time to do it. Yeah. I understand.
I hear that. Story of my life.
Okay, well, thank you, Lurk, so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
This was so fun.
Yes.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.